as they gave in, they compromised, and they gave in to certain things. And, you know, a lot of times people think that we're hard, or they think I'm hard because there's some things I ain't gonna budge on. There's just some things that there is no negotiation over. There's no need to even talk about it because we ain't going there. And there's no need to even talk or discuss it. There's no need. And people say, well, you're hard. You're hard to get along with. You're difficult. No, I just believe what God says. And I'd rather have you mad with me than have God mad with me. Amen. If you mad with me, like Charlotte said, you get over it. Get over it. But God, I ain't want God mad with me. He might not just get over it like that. I don't want God mad with me, so I'd rather have people mad with me than to have God, you know. And I'd rather have God's blessing than to have people's blessing. But we're in a time when there's so much compromise going on. Read a part of an article where a church that's associated with which college is it, baby? Baylor University. That they prayed about it. They said they prayed about it. Their leadership prayed about it, and they decided that it would be okay to conduct homosexual weddings at their church because they prayed about it. Well, I got news for them. They might have prayed about it. They didn't pray to the right God, evidently. No, it's a certainty. They didn't hear the voice of God. Not of this God. Not the God of the Bible. They haven't heard his voice on this. And there's just some things we're not moving on. We're not going to compromise on. We're not going to go. There's no need to negotiate it. Because we aren't moving, because we're going to stand, unless the Word of God changes. Now, the Word of God changes, then we'll negotiate, we'll talk about it. But I don't see that happening. I don't see the Word changing to suit us. And so, the children of Israel, listen, you suffer when you compromise the principles and the commands of the Word of God. You suffer. Somewhere along the line, you suffer. And when you go to compromising what the Word says. And so that's what their conquest began as conquest. It became compromise, and they began being defeated by the enemy because they compromised with the enemy. They negotiated with the enemy. And listen, catch this now. If we do not defeat the enemy completely, totally, we don't get total victory over the enemy in our life, the enemy will eventually defeat us. If we don't get total victory over the enemy will eventually defeat us. I want to go back to this thing I shared with you a while ago. This article from Robert O'Neill, the Fox News contributor, ex-Navy SEAL, the one who is known as the man who killed Osama bin Laden. And he says something here that stands out to me. He says, how do we stop the wars resulting in such tragic waste of lives? How do we stop the number of American war dead in other nations from growing? I wish I knew the answer. But battle lines are being drawn and redrawn. And wars and terrorist attacks just keep going on and on. Weapons are getting bigger. Bombs are becoming smarter. And more lives are being lost every day all over the world, leading to more deaths, more anger, and more war. Some are so loyal to their cause that they strap bombs on their bodies or fly passenger jets into buildings. They conduct beheadings. They set prisoners on fire. And I don't think there's no guessing as to who he's talking about, who he's referring to here. And he didn't say it right there, but he might as well have said it. It's this nation of Islam. It's this Islamic religion / political system. And really, Islam is more of a political system than it is religion. And he's describing what they do, how they react, and people who believe in that particular religion and that particular political system. And he says this: how do we find common ground with them? Because I can promise you this, those radical Islamic terrorists, they ain't compromising with nobody. They ain't going to negotiate with nobody unless the negotiation they already know is going to fall in their favor anyway. They ain't negotiating with anybody. He says, how do we find common ground with them? Do we even try to find common ground? Or do we finally take the gloves off and start landing punches intended to take our enemy out for good? Excuse me, pardon me, but that's the stance I take. They've already shown us, how many years have we been battling these little terrorist units and all this kind of stuff, and they keep popping up like fire ants. And we keep doing a little something here and doing a little something there. Yeah, we've won some of that battle. We won some of those wars with terrorists and on terrorism. We won some of that, but we still have to deal with and contend with right now. And I'm like him. Let's take the gloves. It's time to take the gloves off.